So even though it's currently 2017, Donald Trump is already in full campaign mode, and he released a campaign ad for the 2020 election. So let's watch, and then we'll discuss.
Democrats obstructing, the media attacking our president, career politicians standing in the way of success. But President Trump's plan is working. 1 million jobs created. More Americans working than ever before. Unemployment lowest since 2001. The stock market, all-time record highs. The strongest military in decades. The president's enemies don't want him to succeed. But Americans are saying, let President Trump do his job.
I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message.
Okay, that's the dumbest ad I've ever seen in my life. First of all, what are you doing? He's already, like, 2020 is a long time away. What are you doing? He's like, I gotta go. I'm gonna pitch this to the people. Look, here's the thing about Donald Trump, and a lot of you already know this, but this is everything about him. His whole life has been putting on this facade every day. Wake up in the morning, start pretending. So you wake up and Trump's amazing. Look, we got Trump steaks, we got Trump vodka, we got Trump the board game, we got Trump golf courses, we got Trump everything. Trump is tremendous. Trump means success. My name is incredible. It's unbelievable. One of the best names, one of the best businesses, unbelievable business. So this is everything about him. He's nothing but a sheer marketer and self-promoter. So when you're a self-promoter, what are you going to do? You're going to self-promote. You don't stop on a Wednesday and then you wake up on Thursday and do it. You just keep going. So even though it's 2017, he's like, fuck it, let's do ads. And by the way, he does rallies all the time. He does rallies, what, like once a month about? He'll go to places where nobody would go usually. Like, yeah, here we are in some random rural area in West Virginia, but here I am and I'm campaigning. Now, look, we mock it, and we should, because he's a clown. But at the same time, don't think this doesn't fucking work. Because it works. You know, people, you could have a really, really bad product, but if you advertise for it relentlessly, then more people will flock to that product than to a good product that has no advertisements or bad advertisements. I'm reminded of, bear with my analogy here, there's a whole bunch of gimmick golf clubs that they play infomercials for on the Golf Channel. One of them is called, like, the Perfect Club. It's the shittiest fucking piece of crap. Shittiest piece of crap. Nice. Smooth. That's out there on the market. But they run nonstop commercials and infomercials for it, so it sells really well. That's Donald Trump. He's an empty human being, got no real ideology or plan to make the country better, nor does he even really care about that. It's all about narcissism and self-aggrandizement, and he's letting the establishment run everything behind the scenes as he's out there doing his thing. But since he's nonstop, he's going to dupe a lot of people into thinking like, oh, see, he's tremendous. That's why he's running these ads now, man. He's doing such a good job. He's letting us know how good of a job he's doing and how bad everybody else is, man. Let me tell you that right now. So even though it's goofy, it could work. So Democrats can't take this lightly, like, oh, it'll be so easy to beat this guy. You thought that with Hillary Clinton too, now didn't you? Okay, so let's go through some of the arguments. Democrats are obstructing. That's what they're doing. These Democrats are obstructing. First of all, no, you got many of your picks through, and many Democrats voted for a lot of your picks. So this idea of like Democrats are so obstructionist. I wish they were, but they're not. A lot of Democrats voted for your shitty picks in your cabinet. Now, when they do block you, they're oftentimes correct. So like your shitty Trump care bill, that kicks 20 million people off of health insurance. That's a giant tax cut of $200,000 to everybody in the top 0.1%. You got rid of pre-existing conditions protections and made it optional for different states. Yeah, the correct response to that is obstruction. 100%. So the devil's in the details. And most of the time when they obstruct you, it's because they should obstruct you because your ideas suck because you have no real ideas and you're just serving your donors. Then he said 1 million jobs created. Really, 1 million jobs created? Okay, what policy of yours did you implement that led to the 1 million jobs being created? I'll wait. So what have you done in terms of the economy? You've done a bunch of executive orders. So for example, you've deregulated everything. You signed an executive order that said, for every new one regulation we add, we got to get rid of 2 regulations. That's what's going to happen. Every one new one, you get rid of 2. You did that. You signed an executive order that said coal companies are now allowed to pollute the waterways. Well done, by the way. So that's the stuff you did in terms of the economy. You've done some other deregulation in regards to getting rid of provisions of Dodd-Frank. That has no correlation whatsoever to the creation of 1 million jobs. And by the way, these 1 million jobs, just like under Obama's term for the rest of his time in office, when, we had the subprime mortgage crisis and the Great Recession, and then he dug us out of it, it's mostly low-wage job creation. So it's not a very good indicator of how well your average person is doing by saying 1 million jobs were created. Okay, well, how good are those jobs? How much do they pay? And also, why are you taking credit for it when it was no policy that you implemented that led directly to those jobs being created? But it's just trying to muddy the waters and say, I'm president, so close enough. And then he talks about the stock market. Now look, stock market is another one. I've been clear about this from the beginning. When you look at President Obama, stock market doubled under him. Now, I always add the caveat when I mention that. The stock market is not a good indicator of how your average person is doing. It's a good indicator of how the rich are doing and how multinational corporations are doing. So it's not like impressive. Oh, the stock market doubled. So that doesn't mean your average worker is doing better. It means the stock market doubled. So when Obama made a rebound, we all pointed that out and added that caveat. The Republicans used to make that distinction back then. But now that it's a Republican president, that distinction's out the window, and a good stock market, healthy stock market means the president's doing a great job. Okay, but now that means that when it crashes, which it will, you own it. You're taking credit for it now that it's doing well. So when it crashes, what are you gonna do? That's when you're gonna act like, stock market, it's not a good indicator. No, be fucking consistent. Be consistent. And we're in another bubble right now, by the way. And it's been everybody. It's been Bush's policies, Obama's policies, and Trump's policies are going to continue this of the boom-bust cycle because he believes in trickle-down economics, and he's going to keep pushing to try to cut taxes for the rich and deregulate even more. And then finally, the strongest military claim. It's such a fucking vague, low-level point to make. Like, well, the military's strong. What does that mean, the military's strong? We already spend over 50% of our discretionary spending on the military budget. We could cut that in fucking half and still have the strongest military the world's ever seen by 1.5 miles. So it was the strongest under every modern president. But now you're trying to increase the spending and you're like, see, strongest military ever. Well, you could cut it in half and it'd still be the strongest military ever. So it's not like he's just such a fucking child. And even like the announcer voice in that ad is like the cheesy, trailer for a movie announcer guy. Jesus, man. It just feels like a bad dream that he's president. It really does. It really does. And a lot of people fall for this stuff and say, yeah, well, there, Donald Trump, there you go. Dan's obstructing, millions of jobs created, stock market doing well, strongest military. And people actually use those talking points to try to say, like, Trump's great and everybody should stop obstructing him. And the final point, the day before this ad was released, Trump was given a press conference about unity. We need to come together. We need to stop fighting. And then he releases an ad talking about the enemies of Donald Trump. And here are all the people who are the problem. The Democrats, the media, and all that stuff. Make your mind up, man. Make your mind up.